Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're really digging into the DNA of digital threats. From their earliest forms right up to the, well, frankly, terrifying intelligence they seem to be gaining now. It's this constant high-stakes arms race, isn't it? It forces us to constantly rethink everything about cybersecurity. Okay, so let's unpack this a bit. We're tracing how digital viruses have evolved, not just like isolated incidents, but how they show this escalating ingenuity on both sides, really. This deep dive, it's meant to give you a shortcut, a way to get properly informed on a subject that, let's face it, affects everyone.
Exactly. And our mission here, using all the material, the articles, the research you shared, is to pull out those key insights, the things you really need to know. We want to give you, the listener, a clear, actionable understanding, not just of the threats themselves, but how their evolution changes how you need to protect yourself. It's about cutting through the noise, getting to that core understanding, helping you get up to speed quickly.
Excellent. Right. So let's start with something basic but surprisingly confusing for a lot of people. That difference between malware and viruses. We tend to throw those terms around interchangeably, don't we? But getting that distinction right is pretty critical for understanding what's going on. So what's the key thing for people to grasp here?
Yeah, that's definitely the place to start. It's common, that confusion. But malware, that's the big umbrella term. It covers any software built to cause harm. Any malicious code. Think of it like crime is the general term. A digital virus, though, that's a specific type of malware, like a specific kind of crime. It's a defining feature. Self-replication. It works by modifying other programs, injecting its own code into them. And the crucial difference, especially when you think about defense, is how it spreads. A true virus, unlike, say, a worm, it needs human interaction. You clicking on an infected file, opening attachments, something like that. That's what triggers it to replicate and spread.
Ah, okay. So that reliance on us, on human action.
Precisely. It makes social engineering, tricking people, a really effective attack vector for viruses. So yeah, bottom line, all viruses are malware, but not all malware are viruses. And knowing that difference, it really shapes how we approach detection, mitigation, the whole defensive strategy.
That makes sense. It's not just jargon then. It actually dictates how we should be thinking about protection. Okay, so if that's the distinction, let's get into the mechanics. How do these traditional viruses actually work? What's the anatomy you mentioned? What lets them stick around for so long?
Well, it's quite clever in a malicious way. You can usually break a classic virus down into three main parts. Each one has a specific job. First up, you've got the infection mechanism, sometimes called the replication module. This is the bit that spreads the virus. It actively searches for things to infect executable files, programs, sometimes even core system areas like the boot sector.
The boot sector. Wow, that's fundamental.
Right. When the virus runs, this mechanism copies the virus code and sticks it onto or replaces part of the legitimate code. And often this happens completely silently. You wouldn't necessarily know.
Sneaky.
Very. And we've seen different flavors of this over the years. Early on, you had boot sector viruses, like a C-brain was a famous one. It infected floppy disk boot sector so it would load right when the computer started.
Right, I remember those days.
Then came file infector viruses. They'd attach themselves to program files, like .exe files. They activate when you run that program. And later, with Office documents becoming common, we got macro viruses. They hide malicious code inside Word or Excel files, running when you open the document and enable macros. The ingenuity has always been about finding new hosts to latch onto.
Okay, so that's how it spreads. What's next?
The second piece is the trigger, or the activation condition. This is basically the on switch for the harmful part of the virus. It could be a specific date or time. Remember the Friday the 13th virus?
Vaguely, yeah.
Or maybe a system event, like the program running a certain number of times. Or again, it could just be a user action, like opening one particular file. This trigger, this delay, is really strategic. It lets the virus spread widely before it does anything noticeable. Maximize the damage.
Dormancy as a weapon. Clever. And the third part?
That's the payload. This is the part that actually does the bad stuff, the malicious code itself. And what it does can vary wildly. From annoying but relatively harmless to completely catastrophic.
Okay, give me some examples.
Well, you had viruses like CIH, also known as Chernobyl. That one could actually overwrite critical system data, breaking the machine. Then you had early ones like Creeper, which basically just displayed a message, I'm the Creeper, catch me if you can. More of a proof of concept.
Almost quaint now.
Almost.
Yeah.
But modern payloads are often much nastier, creating backdoors for hackers to get in later, logging your keystrokes to steal passwords.
Keyloggers, yeah.
Or the big one nowadays, encrypting all your files and demanding ransomware. But it's worth noting, not all viruses have a destructive payload. Some were, and maybe still are, designed purely to replicate, just to spread, maybe as a test or to lay groundwork.
That blueprint really clarifies their logic. It's simple, but obviously very effective. So let's connect the internal structure to how they actually get around. How do these things travel through our networks, our devices, and maybe touch on the history a bit?
Sure. The pathways they exploit are often depressingly common, even today. Email attachments are still a huge one. Open the wrong file, and boom.
Still, after all these years.
Absolutely, especially from unknown senders or even emails pretending to be from people you know. Then there are infected websites. You visit a compromised site, and malware can sometimes download itself without you even clicking anything at drive-by download.
Scary.
Yeah. And before everyone was online 24/7, removable media floppy disks, then CDs, then USB drives were major carriers. Sometimes they'd auto-run when plugged in.
Oh, I remember Autorun. Nasty feature.
Definitely. Then, with the internet boom, file-sharing sites, peer-to-peer networks, those became hotspots. And overarching all of this, especially now, is social engineering, tricking people, phishing emails that look legit, messages urging you to click a link or download a file right now. It plays on psychology more than just tech.
Human error remains the weakest link, huh?
Often, yes. And looking back, you can see the history of viruses really just mirrors our own tech history. You mentioned Creeper in '71, more of an experiment on the early ARPANET. Then Elk Cloner in '81, the first one really spreading in the wild on Apple IIs via floppies.
Just passed around physically.
Right. Seabrain in '86, the first big PC virus, ironically started as a clumsy anti-piracy tool. The '90s and 2000s, that was the explosion of email and the internet, so you got macro viruses and email worms spreading like crazy. And from the 2010s onwards, viruses often became components within bigger malware packages, bundled with ransomware, spyware, rootkits, used for cybercrime, even state-sponsored stuff. It just keeps evolving.
And some of those milestones, they weren't just technical curiosities. They caused massive real-world damage. I mean, I Love You back in 2000. That email worm hit millions. The estimated damage was what, $10 billion?
Astronomical figures, yeah.
And My Doom in 2004, launching those denial of service attacks, that was even bigger, like $38 billion estimated damage.
It paralyzed parts of the internet.
Exactly. And then CryptoLocker around 2013, that wasn't the very first ransomware, but it was one of the first to become really widespread, encrypting personal files, demanding money. It basically launched a whole criminal business model that we're still fighting today.
It really did. It shifted the landscape.
Okay, so given this history, this constant evolution, what does this mean for you, the listener, practically? How can you even tell if maybe your system's been hit? And more importantly, what are the solid steps you can take to protect yourself now?
Right. The practical side. Well, sometimes infections are subtle, but often there are telltale signs. A really common one is a sudden slowdown in performance. Your computer just feels sluggish. Apps hang.
Yeah, that's always suspicious.
It is. Also, unexpected pop-ups. Lots of them, especially ones screaming about fake virus infections or telling you to buy shady security software. Classic sign. If your machine starts crashing or freezing way more than usual or restarting on its own, that needs checking out.
Okay.
Other things to watch for. Unknown programs or files suddenly appearing, things you know you didn't install. Or, much more worrying, passwords suddenly changing without you doing it. That's a huge red flag.
Definitely.
And keep an eye on your settings. If your browser homepage changes or new toolbars appear, or maybe your security software settings get altered, that's suspect.
All right, so those are the warning signs. What about prevention? What actually works?
Protection is all about layers. It's not just one thing. First and foremost, keep everything updated. Your operating system, your browser, all your applications, those updates often patch security holes, viruses, exploits. It's absolutely crucial. Non-negotiable.
That's patch back.
Exactly. Second, use good, reliable antivirus software and keep it updated too. Seriously, update it regularly. They say hundreds of new malware threats pop up every month, so weekly updates at minimum are essential.
Well, hundreds a month.
Yeah, the pace is relentless.
Yes.
Beyond the software, though, your behavior is key. Be super careful with emails and attachments. If you don't know the sender, or even if you do but the email seems weird or unexpected, don't click. Verify first.
Even from friends, right?
Yeah.
Because their accounts could be hacked.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Assume nothing. Then, the basics. Strong, unique passwords for everything. Use a password manager. Enable multi-factor authentication wherever you can.
MFA, yeah. Huge help.
Absolutely. And back up your important files regularly.
All right.
To an external drive, to cloud storage, whatever. If ransomware hits, backups are your lifeline. Finally, just be cautious about downloads. Stick to reputable sources. Think before you click, honestly.
Yeah,
An educated, cautious user is probably the best defense there is.
that's really solid, practical advice. Stuff everyone can and should do. Okay, but now, let's shift gears. Let's look at the really cutting edge. This is where things get, well, honestly, a bit scary. We need to talk about AI viruses.
Yes. The next frontier, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So an AI virus, basically it's malware that uses artificial intelligence. It uses AI to adapt, to evolve, and to spread much faster, much more efficiently than traditional viruses.
Adapt and evolve. How?
Well, unlike older viruses that follow fixed rules or patterns, these AI-powered ones can actually learn from the environment they're in. They can analyze the system they've infected and then change their own behavior, their attack strategy, in real time. That makes them incredibly hard to spot with the usual methods, like looking for known virus signatures.
Okay, how exactly did they learn?
They use techniques like adaptive learning,
Mhm.
often based on machine learning algorithms. They probe the host system, find vulnerabilities, and then literally design new ways to exploit that specific system. It's not a one-size-fits-all attack anymore.
Tailor-made attacks. That's worrying.
It is. And maybe even more concerning is the potential for multi-vector attacks. Imagine these AI viruses
Hmm.
talking to each other, coordinating, sharing information about defenses, about vulnerabilities, launching synchronized attacks across email, websites, software flaws, all at once.
It's like a swarm.
Exactly, a coordinated self-optimizing swarm.
Yeah.
Defending against that could be, well, almost impossible with current tools. And they're masters of stealth and evasion. They can mimic normal software, change their own code constantly,
Yeah.
basically blend in to avoid getting caught.
The potential impact just sounds enormous, globally. Attacks on critical infrastructure, power grids, finance, transport. That sounds catastrophic. Crippling economies, disrupting millions.
The potential is certainly there. It's a nightmare scenario.
And even locally, for businesses, schools. The cost in lost productivity, stolen data, it could be billions.
Easily.
And for us personally, stealing passwords, bank details, identities, that threat just gets amplified, doesn't it?
Exponentially, yes.
Yeah.
The efficiency and adaptability make them far more dangerous for personal data theft.
Are we actually seeing this stuff yet, or is it still mostly theoretical?
We're starting to see the edges of it. Real-world examples and proofs of concept are appearing. For instance, at the Black Hat Security Conference recently, researchers showed malware using reinforcement learning, a type of AI, to bypass Microsoft's endpoint protection. It had about an 8% success rate, which might not sound huge, but it was running on normal consumer hardware. That shows this isn't just sci-fi anymore. It's becoming feasible.
Accessible, even.
Potentially, yes. We're also seeing cybercriminals get smarter about using AI concepts, even if the malware itself isn't fully AI yet. Like creating fake AI companies or gaming firms online on Telegram, Discord, to lure people into downloading malware. Things like Realst or the Atomic macOS dealer, Amos, designed specifically to grab crypto wallets and sensitive data.
Using the hype around AI as bait.
Exactly. And then there's the whole issue of AI systems themselves being manipulated or going wrong. There was a study, Flinders University, I think, showing major AI chatbots, GPT-4o, Gemini could be subtly prompted to generate completely wrong medical advice, even inventing fake sources. Huge disinformation potential.
Wow. Medically inaccurate advice.
Yeah. And remember Microsoft's Tay chatbot back in 2016?
Oh, yeah. That went off the rails fast.
Within 24 hours, users basically trained it to be racist and offensive. Or, more recently, New York City's official chatbot was found giving out incorrect legal advice, even suggesting businesses could break the law. These things show how unpredictable AI can be, how vulnerable to bad data or manipulation, even when it's not designed to be malicious.
Okay, so it definitely feels like an AI arms race is heating up. But surely if AI can be used to attack, it must also be a powerful tool for defense, right? Are we fighting fire with fire?
We absolutely are, and we have to. Looking at the bigger picture, AI is becoming fundamental to modern cybersecurity. It's a huge leap forward from just relying on known virus signatures.
How so? What can AI do on the defensive side?
Well, several things. Machine learning is key. We train AI models on massive data sets, huge amounts of both good software and known malware. The AI learns to spot patterns, subtle characteristics of malicious code, often much earlier than humans or older systems could.
Catching things earlier?
Right. Then there's anomaly detection. The AI learns what normal looks like on your system or network. Then, if something deviates from that baseline unusual network traffic, weird process behavior, the AI flags it It can catch brand new threats that have no known signature.
Because it detects weird behavior, not just known code.
Exactly.
Mm.
And related to that is heuristic analysis. AI evaluates unknown code based on its characteristics and likely behavior. Learn from past examples. So even if it's a completely new virus or a mutated version, the AI can make an educated guess that it's malicious based on how it's trying to operate. These AI defense systems are generally more accurate, they scale well, and crucially, they can adapt. They learn too.
And we're seeing this in products now.
Oh yeah. There are things like antivirus AI for Android phones. Big companies like IBM have heavily invested in AI for their malware defense platforms. It's becoming mainstream on the defense side.
So it really is intelligence versus intelligence.
It is, and taking it a step further, there are even theoretical discussions, quite speculative, mind you,
Yeah.
about whether AI systems could become truly self-replicating, like a digital life form spreading across networks,
Whoa.
or AI launching zero-click attacks, exploiting vulnerabilities in other AI systems, like systems using something called retrieval augmented generation, or AG, where AI pulls info from outside sources. Could those sources be poisoned with malicious data to compromise the AI?
That sounds like Inception for AI.
Kind of. And security implications. They've appeared. Could a rogue AI hide itself perfectly? Could it manipulate cryptocurrency, hack financial systems, and actually start influencing the real world? Paying for things, services.
Missing server time, maybe?
Exactly. Yep. Blurring that line between digital threat and physical world impact.
Yeah.
It's mind-bending stuff to contemplate, but it's where the conversation is starting to go.
Wow. Okay. That is a lot to take in. We've gone from the basics, malware versus viruses, through the anatomy of classic viruses, their history, their impact, and then plunged right into this new world of AI viruses, how they work, the dangers, but also how AI is fighting back. It really drives home how vital it is to stay informed, doesn't it, in this digital world that just keeps getting more complex.
It really does. And maybe this raises the big question we should leave people with as AI keeps accelerating on both sides of this cybersecurity war. How is this AI arms race going to fundamentally change how we even think about digital risk? And what completely new ethical questions pop up when you have increasingly autonomous AI attackers and defenders?
A very powerful thought to end on, food for thought, for sure. We really hope this deep dive has given you a clearer picture of these threats, old and new, and maybe some useful tools to navigate it all. Thanks for joining us on the deep dive. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and please stay safe online.